Good day, everyone. Once again, this is Dr. Nika Taloma to discuss with you the antepartum complications of pregnancy. We'll start off with the topic hemolytic disease of fetus and newborn. So this is defined as the immune reaction of the mother's blood against the blood group factor on the fetus RBCs. So meaning there could be blood incompatibility with the blood type of the mother with that of the fetus. So there are two types of incompatibility. We have what we call Rh incompatibility and ABO incompatibility. Rh actually stands for rhesus. So here, for the mother, the mother is Rh negative. This incompatibility occurs when the mother is Rh negative and the baby is Rh positive. So magkaiba sila ng rhesus. So for the mother, ang palatandaan natin dito, M and then N. So if the mother is negative and the baby is positive, then we will have what we call an Rh incompatibility. So we'll discuss more about this later. So when we talk about ABO incompatibility, we talk about the blood type. So di ba meron tayong blood type A, blood type B, blood type O, blood type AB. So if there is any incompatibility in the blood of the mother, then take note class, this will cause hemolytic disease in the newborn. Pagkapanganak niya, there is already a problem with hemolysis. Remember yung pinag-usapan natin when you see the suffix lytic or lysis, it means destruction. Ano ang nasisira? The blood, what specifically your red blood cell. So if the mother is type O, di ba letter O, mother, blood type O siya, pero yung baby naman is blood type A, B, or AB, so baby, magkakaroon talaga sila ng problem kasi hindi sila compatible. Okay, now, let's discuss first about Rh incompatibility. And I want you to take note of this immunoglobulin G. Pag sinabi natin IgG or immunoglobulin G, it crosses the placenta. So, it's very important to take note of that kasi makikita natin sa pathophysiology ng hemolytic disease of the newborn. So, for example, the mother becomes pregnant. So, in her first pregnancy, again, the mother is Rh negative. Nakikita niyo itong mga kulay green na negative sign. This represents that the mother is Rh negative and the baby is may positive sign naman na color red, so Rh positive siya. Ngayon, pagkapanganak ni mother, halimbawa lumabas na si baby, naipanganak na siya. Pagkapanganak niya, there is, what happens is, nagkakaroon ng mixture. Yung ibang blood ni baby na may mix sa blood ni mother. So nakikita natin may negative, may positive. Merong positive na Rh blood dyan kay mother. What happens is, the mother will create an antibody. So, nakikita natin itong mga plus sign. These are actually antibody. So, anong mangyayari sa antibody? Papatayin niya ngayon yung mga Rh positive na blood na na-mix kay mother. Okay. Magpo-form siya ng immunoglobulin. Anong immunoglobulin yun? IgG. This is a type of antibody. It will create an antibody that is an immunoglobulin G to destroy the Rh positive blood that was mixed sa blood ni mother. Ngayon, si first baby, it will live or the baby will live. Mabubuhay siya because it was already delivered. Now, here comes the problem. If the mother becomes pregnant again, remember, the mother already has antibodies, which is immunoglobulin G, yung ganito ang symbol natin. Now, the baby, if, for example, again, is positive na naman siya, Rh positive na naman si baby, what happens is, since this immunoglobulin can cross the placenta, this antibody can cross the placenta, what will happen? Papatayin niya ngayon yung red blood cells ng baby. It will destroy the red blood cells of the baby. And what will happen if the baby has continuously, tuloy-tuloy na namamatay or nade-destroy ang red blood cell niya? That means, the red blood cell in the body of the baby cannot do its job, which is to supply oxygen and nutrients to the different parts of the body of the baby. So what will happen? This will cause hemolytic disease. Pagkapanak pa lang ng baby, nagkakaroon na siya ng hemolytic disease. How are we going to treat this, class? Okay, so sa first pregnancy pa lang, dapat ma-prevent natin ang pag-develop ng antibody. Yun ang target natin. So if for example, during the first pregnancy, na-detect natin that there is Rh incompatibility, we give what we call RhoGAM. This is the antidote. So it will prevent the development of antibody against the fetal blood. So, kailan natin siya ibibigay? Sa first pregnancy ni mother, kapag 28 weeks pregnant na si mother, we give the first injection of RhoGAM. Pangalawa, binibigay natin yung second injection of RhoGAM within 72 hours after birth. So, twice natin ini-injectan. So, what will happen? Even if ma-mix yung blood ni baby kay mother, hindi siya magpo-form ng antibody. So, the RhoGAM will prevent the formation of antibodies. So, it will destroy the red blood cells of the baby that was mixed, pero hindi ka magpo-form ng antibody. So, kung walang antibody, okay, halimbawa nabigyan natin ng RhoGAM si mother, kung walang antibody class, sa second pregnancy ni mother, kahit pa Rh positive yung baby niya, hindi siya magkakaroon ng hemolytic disease because we were able to give RhoGAM and prevent the formation of those antibodies. Therefore, mabubuhay na si first baby, mabubuhay pa si second baby. So that is the hemolytic disease of the fetus and newborn. Now, Rh incompatibility class, anong magiging effect niya? Ano bang itsura, Doc, ng may hemolytic disease na newborn? So, they will develop hydrops fetalis or erythroblastosis fetalis. So, this is how they will look like. Very edematous yung baby. Merong swollen liver and then severe abdominal swelling. Yung mga ganito na baby class, they will not survive. They will die few hours after birth. That's the reason why it's very important for us to detect the Rh incompatibility early during the pregnancy. Okay? Hydrops fetalis or erythroblastosis fetalis. Okay. Next, we also have another type of hemolytic disease of the newborn which is called ABO incompatibility. So, again, it will develop an immunoglobulin that crosses the placenta. Sabi natin, the blood type of the mother is type O and the baby is either A, B, or blood type AB. This will cause incompatibility in the blood. So, pagkapanganak ng baby, nagkakaroon tayo ng symptoms na jaundice. Okay, ano ibig sabihin ng jaundice? This is manifested as yellow discoloration of the skin. Doc, bakit nagkakaroon ng jaundice? Kasi class, if this is a red blood cell at namamatay yung red blood cell class, it will increase the bilirubin in the blood. Bilirubin. And then, this bilirubin will accumulate sa skin or sa mata ng baby or in the mucosa. So, it will cause yellowish color of the skin. So, what is our management for jaundice or for the hemolytic disease of the newborn? We have phototherapy. So, ganito yung magiging itsura niya pag mag-duty kayo sa hospital as nurses, midwives, or doctors. There will be tinatawag din itong Billy light or short for bilirubin light. So, pwede siyang tawaging Billy light or phototherapy, blue light. Okay, so, ang function nito is to decrease yung accumulation ng bilirubin sa skin. Therefore, mawawala yung jaundice. Another management is to initiate early feeding. Kailangan i-breastfeed kaagad yung baby and then exchange blood transfusions to reduce indirect bilirubin levels. So, this is very rarely done nowadays wherein i-blood transfusion mo yung tatanggalin mo yung ibang blood ng baby tapos saka mo papalitan to decrease the indirect bilirubin levels. And of course, we have to teach the client and the family on the proper care of the baby. Halimbawa, pag dinischarge na natin pero still medyo jaundice pa ang baby, pwede natin ituro na pwede siya lang magkaroon ng exposure to early sunlight. So, tatanggalin mo lahat yung damit ng baby, takpan mo lang yung genitalia area niya, tsaka yung eyes niya, and then full sun exposure. Pero dapat early morning. Wag naman yung 12 noon na, ang init-init, doon mo lang ipapainit si baby. Baka maging barbecue siya kung ganun kainit. So, dapat mga 7 a.m. and then that's good for 20 to 30 minutes na i-expose mo si baby. It's like phototherapy din ang magiging effect niya. We move on to gravidocardiac. So, for this topic, when we talk about gravidocardiac, again, when we say gravid, It means pregnancy, and then cardiac means heart. So gravido-cardiac. So we have, it means that the pregnant mother has a problem with heart disease. So we have a New York Heart Association classification, or yung tinatawag nating NYHA, New York Heart Association classification. Meron tayong 4 classes ng gravido-cardiac patient. Pag nabasa nyo sa chart, class 1, ibig sabihin the mother is asymptomatic. Meron siyang heart problem, pero wala pa siyang symptoms na pinapakita. Hindi siya hirap huminga, hindi madaling mapagod, okay naman si mother. Pag sinabi natin class 2, meron na siyang symptoms at ordinary activities. Ibig sabihin nito class, halimbawa, pag maglinis, tumayo, maligo, those are ordinary activities, yung mag-travel, pumunta sa work. So, those are ordinary activities. So, pag ginagawa niya yun, nagpapakita na siya ng symptoms. Hirap na siya huminga, madali siyang mapagod. Ang class 3 naman mas grabe kasi less than ordinary activities. Ibig sabihin, konting galaw niya lang, mag-side lang siya sa bed o kaya umupo. Those are less than the ordinary activities. Napapagod na siya, hirap huminga, hinihingal na siya. And then class 4 is the worst because even if the patient is at rest, nakahiga lang siya, nanonood lang halimbawa ng TV pero hirap na siya huminga, madaling mapagod, hindi na siya halos makagalaw. So, what are the critical periods which might lead to decompensation? When we talk about decompensation, when you say compensation, these are the things that our body do to try to compensate with the heart problem. Now, nagiging critical ito kung halimbawa, ang pregnant woman ay naabot na niya ang end of second trimester wherein this is the peak of hypervolemia, mataas ang blood volume. Now, the heart will be given more workload kasi mataas ang blood volume, mas maraming blood na ipapump ang heart. So, these are considered critical periods. Ibig sabihin, kailangan natin bantayan yung nanay na may heart problem. Pangalawa, kapag nagle-labor na siya, that will be very painful. So, it means it will also have or give the heart more workload to do. And also immediately after labor, when there is increased venous return already. So, mas mataas na naman ang magiging workload ng heart. Also, during 6 weeks postpartum when normalization of cardiac output occurs. So, ito yung mga periods class, but natin dinidiscuss because ito yung mga periods na dapat alam nyo as a nurse, midwife, or a doctor, you have to watch out for any complications or signs of decompensation. So, how are we going to manage this? Early anesthesia para hindi makaramdam ng masyadong pain ang mother because we don't want them to have so much pain kasi pwede nga silang magkaroon ng heart failure. You have to give the anesthesia early. At the onset of pain, you give the anesthesia. Prevent cardiac decompensation. Remember, pain leads to increased sympathetic activity. Tataas ang heart rate, tataas ang BP. This may lead to cardiac decompensation. Wrong spelling. So those are the things that we need to take note about gravido-cardiac patients. We also have what we call thyroid storm. Ito naman yung kailangan nating bantayan din sa mga mother who has medical history of having thyroid. Yung tinatawag nating thyroid storm. So we have what we call your Birch-Warthowski criteria. Ano yung mababantayan natin? So, hindi ko na ito i-discuss in detail because you actually don't need this. These are for doctors to assess the patient. But you must have at least a general idea about thyroid storm in pregnancy. First, you have to take note class, thermoregulatory dysfunction. Pwedeng magka-fever ang patient natin with thyroid storm. So, isa sa symptoms yan. Next, cardiovascular dysfunction. Titignan mo yung heart niya. Baka napaka-tachycardic na pala. Heart rate greater than or equal to 140. Next, ano pa bang makikita natin sa thyroid storm? Central nervous system effects. Baka nagkaroon na siya ng coma or seizure or other symptoms like agitation and delirium. What else? Tignan din natin kung nagkakaroon na siya ng congestive heart failure as manifested by atrial fibrillation. Ano pa? GI, hepatic dysfunction. Dami niyang symptom, no? Thyroid ang affected, pero ang dami mong makikitang manifestations nito. Like, for example, severe unexplained jaundice. If there is a precipitant history, ibig sabihin, halimbawa, may history na pala siya ng thyroid storm dati, then ito, ilalagay natin positive. Now, ito yung scores niya, class. So, imagine niyo kung halimbawa, ang temp ng mother natin 40, ang score niya si 30. 30 plus, ang heart rate niya is 140. So, for example, 25 plus nag-comma pa siya, 30. And then atrial fibrillation, 10. And then may severe jaundice pa siya, plus 20. And then may precipitant history, plus 10. O ang score niya, class, is 125. So, pag greater than 45 ang score mo, that is already highly suggestive of a thyroid storm. Okay? So, yan, I just want you to have an idea na kapag ganito ang symptoms ng mother, hindi lang pala pwedeng preeclampsia lang yung i-consider, baka pwedeng thyroid storm din, lalo na kung dati na siyang may history of thyroid disorder. Okay? So, next we have what we call our renal disorders. So, for our renal disorders, ito yung mga pinaka-common. That's why these are the things that we're going to discuss. So, we have acute pyelonephritis. So, pag nakita niyo yung word na acute, class, meaning abrupt ang manifestations, bigla na lang nagkaroon ng ganitong symptoms. So, pyelo, it means our kidneys. Pyelonephritis. Itis means inflammation. So, what are the manifestations? Take note, class, pag may itis, ibig sabihin yan, meron talaga yung fever. Yan. May chills. Ano pa? Flank pain. Dito ang flank area, class. Pag sinabi natin flank, tagiliran. Okay? So, may flank pain siya. So, kung right kidney ang affected, then there will be pain in the right flank. Pag left, edi left flank pain. So, nausea and vomiting. Ano pa? Signs of lower urinary tract infection. Masakit yung pag-ihi niya. There is dribbling, urinary frequency, okay, and pain. And we also have what we call costovertebral angle tenderness. Costovertebral angle tenderness. So, we have the vertebra, di ba, class? Tapos, meron tayo dito sa area na to, we have the costovertebral angle here. And then, what we are trying to do is, we're going to punch yung igaganon mo. Ilalagay mo to sa likod ng mother. Tapos, igaganon mo siya. And then, if there is pain, then that would mean costovertebral angle tenderness is elicited. Okay. Ano naman yung mga lab test na i-ask natin? Siyempre, magpapa-UA tayo, urinalysis. So, we will see that there will be greater than or equal to 5 WBC per high power field or greater than or equal to 10,000 colony forming unit per ml bacteriuria. Another test that we can do is the urine gram stain and culture sensitivity. So, makikita talaga natin dyan kung anong specific na microorganism ang nag-cause ng acute pyelonephritis. For the management, class, take note, for renal disorders such as this, our management is to hydrate the patient. Painumin mo ng maraming tubig, at least 2 liters per day. Ganun dapat ang ituturo natin sa kanila. We have to hydrate them. And then the urine output must be at least 50 cc per hour. Ano bang normal na urine output natin? Di ba dapat at least 30 cc per hour? So since i-hydrate natin siya, papainumin natin siya, then the urine output must be at least 50 cc per hour. And then we give antibiotics. So sa pregnant women, ang antibiotic of choice is cefuroxime. We can give it as long as 10 to 14 days. And then, after natin i-treat with cefuroxime, after treatment, we check again the urine, gram stain, and culture sensitivity to check if it was effective. Okay? So that's it for our renal disorders. In the next video, I will be discussing the infectious disorders of pregnancy. So, ano mga complications natin na pwedeng makuha because of infection? So, we have